Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. My name is Pastor Scott Griswold, working with ASAP Ministries, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this podcast called Is Russia's Next Prime Minister Studying Near You? As some of you may remember from the podcast Orphans No More, I have a Cambodian son named Rota who came to live with us when he was 7. He's grown now, has a family of his own. In fact, just the other day, their first baby was born. I am so excited. It's a boy. I don't feel as old as a grandpa, but I have the excitement of a grandpa. Anyway, when Rota was in 10th grade, he moved to Thailand to go to school at Chiang Mai Adventist Academy. The curriculum was taught entirely in Thai, and he hardly knew a single word. He was Cambodian, and he felt very out of place. Can you imagine studying history, math, science, and in a language that's not your own? He struggled hard. He wanted to give up. He wanted to come home. One time he was so stressed he ended up in the hospital, but he didn't quit. The boys' dean helped him a lot, gave him counsel and friendship. The principal helped. In particular, a missionary couple, David and Annabelle, often had him over to their house for food and fellowship. He survived the ordeal. He actually thrived and graduated speaking Thai like a native. Now he's back in his country starting a business using Thai, English, and Cambodian. Best of all, his aim is to help the many people there. Today, right around us in the colleges, universities, even sometimes the high schools, are international students like Rota. Many are struggling with a new language and a new culture. Schooling is hard. They miss home. They'd love to have someone befriend them too. Is this an opportunity that God is calling you to take up? It's all around us. Did you realize approximately 1 million international students studied in the United States and Canada last year? Who are they? Why are they here? Many of these students are future world leaders. They're Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, secular students from countries like China, India, and Saudi Arabia. Their parents, their governments want them trained well. And that's why they sent them to North America. Did you know the King of Bahrain studied in Kansas? Did you happen to meet Annette Lu when she was studying in Illinois and later in Massachusetts? She's now the Vice President of Taiwan. How about Alexander Zhukov, the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia? Did you have him over for Thanksgiving dinner when he was studying at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts? That's what's possible. It just amazes me what an incredible mission opportunity lies at our doorstep. We could dramatically change the history of nations if we had a positive, loving impact on these students, these future leaders, while they're here. I have friends who decided to open their home to an international student. Ron and Kathy Bush were ordinary church members living in California. They heard about an exchange program and invited a Japanese student to stay with them for an entire school year. It was not easy, but they had fun providing a home for someone learning their culture, and they learned much about his culture too. They made a true friend. When it was all done, they decided it was so worth it, they'd do it for other students. And one of those students especially responded to their caring Christianity. He began to ask questions, finally studied the Bible with them. Eventually, he was baptized. Now he's serving as a pastor, reaching other Japanese young people. Isn't that fantastic? Surely, this is part of the beautiful prediction God gave in Isaiah 60, verse 3. Nations will come to your light and kings to the brightness of your dawn. I think about the incredible impact King David and King Solomon had on the nations around them. When they followed God, the principles of righteousness were lived out in the kingdom, and people saw the difference. 2 Chronicles 9:23 says, "And all the kings of the earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart." Queen of Sheba was one of those. She was overwhelmed. She was so blessed, she blessed the God of Israel. We can see the same thing happen if we come close to these young people from around the world. These students, they can meet Jesus here in North America, where it's so much easier for them to make a decision for him than in their countries where they're pressured by their family and friends. And then they can turn around and go back to those very countries and impact their family and friends in countries you and I couldn't even get into to share the gospel. I am really amazed at how special it can be when we take and befriend an international student. We have the potential to impact hundreds, maybe even thousands more through that one person. I found a story told by InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, which is an interdenominational ministry that does a special work with international students. YY Toon grew up in Myanmar. When she was fairly young, her father became really sick. And there's a problem because the pharmacies in that area are run by people who often have had no chance to study pharmacology. YY's father got the wrong medicine and he died. That's how YY began to seriously consider the area of health for a future career. Amazingly, she had a chance to study at the University of Montana in Missoula, Montana, USA. When YY was little, back in Myanmar, her best friend's mother had told her about Jesus. She had said to this Buddhist girl, "If you are ever in trouble, pray to Jesus. He will help you." In Montana, Christians from InterVarsity befriended YY, and she remembered what she had previously heard about Jesus, and new questions started to surface. So some friends invited her to attend a Christian conference with them over Christmas break. That's the place where she gave her heart to Jesus back in 2009. She was so excited to learn about God's love and His plan for her life. As she got back to the university, her joy just kept bubbling over. One day, in one of the university's classes, the professor asked the students, "So do you have any questions?" YY piped up, "I became a Christian over break. Are there any other Christians here?" She may not know what to say tactfully, but her love was bubbling over to touch other people. Some of the Christians began mentoring her carefully, helping her grow strong in her relationship with Jesus. In a short time, one of InterVarsity's leaders, Kevin Nolte, asked YY to lead a Bible study group. She was so surprised. "Are you crazy? I've only been a Christian for a year." They helped her, and soon other international students joined her group. Soon a girl named Sachi arrived from Sri Lanka. She was struggling to adjust. American food didn't taste too good. It wasn't spicy like the curries she was used to, and many other things. YY quickly became her friend. Sachi was a Buddhist, and that was what YY had been. So they became like sisters. Sachi said having her was one of the best things that happened in Missoula. And YY shared her faith. Sachi said, "I wasn't comfortable to pray at all. She encouraged me to pray in my own language." Soon Sachi was believing in Jesus, and YY passed the torch to her, having her lead the Bible studies. YY eventually graduated as one of the outstanding seniors in her class. She's eager to return to her country. In the video, she said, "I want to use my knowledge in pharmaceutics as a way to bring Jesus to my people." Isn't that beautiful? What would have happened if no one had befriended her? You can watch her whole story at intervarsity.org. Does that get you excited? I have been to the countries of Myanmar and Sri Lanka that these two ladies are from. I know there are so many people there who need to know Jesus. I'd love to see more Seventh-day Adventist students, churches, whole conferences really take up this mission opportunity like InterVarsity Christian Fellowship and other organizations have done. Are you ready to go visit your local university and get involved? We can reach people here who can effectively touch their own nations. The horrible thing is that some studies have shown that 75% of the students who study in the USA will never enter an American's home while they're here. 80% will never go into a church. Does that bother you? It should trouble us so much that we get out there and change the statistic. Just think, you might befriend a future president or the future trainer of the top educators in some country. So if you're willing to check this out, I want you as soon as you can to go to our website, reachtheworldnextdoor.com. Under the third big slider at the top, you'll see where it says, "I discovered international students studying at our local university. What can I do to befriend them?" Click there and you'll find excellent resources to help you know how to get involved. For example, you can help them learn English just by spending time visiting together. You can throw a Welcome to America party. You can teach them about American or Canadian culture, the good and the bad through literature or a tour through town. You can provide for some of their initial needs when they've just arrived, or invite them home for Christmas vacation. You might even host a student for a year in your home like Ron and Kathy Bush did. I'm praying that many of you will get involved. Remember Rota, remember YY. Jesus is working. He loves them. He wants the nations, the kings of the nations, to know Him and be with Him for eternity. So let's do it. Let's reach the world ASAP.